Show.
Uh, it's the show.
Oh yeah.
Here we're live. Uh, Talking about nothing. Talking to no one about nothing. Thanks for joining.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Uh,
Who's no one? Is me no one or Jimmy no one?
I'm talking about
Or are we all
I'm
no
talking to
one?
who we're broadcasting to.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
like I
Yeah,
mean, we're
you're
We're
all
talking to
watching
each
someone
nobody.
other.
talking to no
We're
one.
talking to each other, but ain't nobody listening to us other than us. Maybe Rory. Hey, what's up, Rory?
Let's
You're not
see,
nobody, Rory, no
10:30.
matter what Darcy says.
Was it? Is that 4:30 over there? Yeah,
Is he still over yonder,
Oh yeah.
he's
across the
still
pond?
yonder. Yep.
Cool.
I think
Well,
he comes
he
back
was
on
texting
the
me.
7th.
He was texting me a few days ago, and I thought he must have been back because of the time that he was texting me, but it must just been up in the night or something.
Yeah, who
I
knows?
think. Anyway, all right. So yeah, we just had a storm, sort of. We didn't have a storm, but Dan almost died
What?
twice, I guess.
So here's the story. So I went up to my cousin Ben's because I'm going to redo his roof here in a little bit. We drove from his house to the Menards on 152 and Green Hills Road or whatever that
Hmm.
is. Is that right?
Yes.
When we got out to the truck or the van at Menards at Green Hills, it was starting to rain pretty good. And we drove back to Liberty. And as we're going into Liberty, we crossed the highway and it just started like dumping and wind blowing super hard. And literally, like, we were watching tree limbs from Bradford pears get ripped off and like probably
Wow.
limbs like 6-inch limbs off of Bradford pears just getting ripped off, thrown down in the road. And Ben, I'm, I'm gonna look right in the camera. Ben, I love you, but you're a crazy person when you get nervous. And you don't drive faster in a storm where your visibility is zero to try to get home without getting hit by a limb. Got it?
Did you say any of this to him in the moment?
Yes, I did. I said, he said, we need to get away from these trees. And I'm thinking, like, there's freaking trees everywhere. The likelihood that you're going to die by trying to drive twice the speed limit with zero visibility is much greater than the chance that you're going to get hit by one of the many trees that could come down. He had 3 kids in the car and me, which I think I'm a very important person whenever somebody else is trying to drive crazy. And I was like, dude, chill. Like, oh, I just want to get away from these trees. And like, it's Liberty, Missouri. It's just trees. That's all there is anywhere. There's trees everywhere. Anyway, we
So
lived.
you were in Liberty today, but you didn't come to my house and take your stair lift with you.
I didn't know you lived in Liberty. I thought you lived in like um
Well, it's
Holt or
Kearney,
something.
which is the next town from Liberty.
Well, I had 2 missions. One was to figure out what shingles he wanted, and the other, which was at least as important, was to pick up arrows from Rogers Sporting Goods.
Ah,
And I failed at picking up arrows from Rogers
bummer.
because that place is run like a store I would run. And that sucker's closed at 6 o'clock
Oh yeah,
And Mondays.
and Mondays
and
and
Sundays.
Sundays and Saturdays.
Some Saturdays.
Sundays, Mondays, and closed at 6 o'clock every day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah, they're like,
They
heck,
do
heck
not
no.
care.
We're not working if you're not working.
No, I can't. I literally can't get to Rogers. I can't get in the door because it's never open whenever I'm around. And then, the rain and the storm. But
Yeah, I kind of respect a place like that. That's like Gail's Harley Davidson was always closed on Saturdays, and they always had signs and stuff that said, "Hey, we're closed on Saturday, so that our people can be out riding." Like,
yeah,
we're gonna take a day off.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a good one.
But Chick-fil-A needs to be open on Sunday.
Well, just get them non-Christians to work Sundays.
you wouldn't have the same service. It just wouldn't be the same.
That's
Christians, all Christians are nicer.
true. All of them.
No, not all the Christians are nicer, but all the Christian fast food workers are nicer.
Just all the ones that go to church on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're probably like, you need to go to church and repent for all the terrible things you thought about people that came in the restaurant this week. And they do it.
Yeah, maybe. And that's how they can be pleasant on Monday again.
Yeah. You can get about 6 days of pleasantry out in one confession. Pretty sure.
Yep. Good.
So what do you got? Well, Jimmy, let's hear your deal. How's things going with you this week?
Oh, I've been working a lot.
Working
Removing
on
wallpaper
work or working
all
on
week
moving?
long. Working on the house that we bought, removing wallpaper.
You're leaving all the good colors though, right?
It's what?
You're leaving all the good colors though, right? Because weren't there some cool design choices in that house?
Oh, some weird wallpaper that's all being ripped off.
What was there was something that
Oh,
was
you're
super
probably
red
referring
in the
to like
pictures.
the red countertop, the green carpet.
Mm-hmm. You're keeping
Yeah,
that
the red
stuff though, right?
the red countertop is staying. Yep. And the green carpet, I think it's also gonna stay.
Both.
Okay.
Both of the.
Is it like
What's the
shag
one
or
in
is
it?
it? What is it?
No, it's a pretty short carpet. I think I don't know. It's like a traditional style carpet, like a normal style carpet, but green, and it's in really good shape. I don't think it was used much. Elliot wants that to be his bedroom, and he thinks that carpet is cool. So we're leaving it.
Wait, so you
carpet?
guys aren't moved in yet?
No, we haven't even started moving in. We are removing wallpaper, painting walls, replacing some light fixtures, and we are going to replace some carpet, not all of it, but some. And then we will move in. So I'm hoping maybe by the end of next week. That depends on how many
So it
people
doesn't need
come help me.
Yeah. So it doesn't need
So
a whole lot
far,
of work.
no, it really doesn't need much. But so far, Jeremy, Angela, and Anna and I have been working on it. Joel's conveniently out of town. I helped him a lot on his house, but he's out of town this week.
You helped me a lot on my house too.
That's true, and you haven't been over to help.
No.
So
And Dan hasn't even come to get the junk that he's supposed to haul off.
Dan hasn't even come to get the stair lift. And speaking of that, I think the battery is dead in it.
Uh-oh. It has a battery?
That's
Instead of a
yeah. That's
plug-in?
how stair lifts work. They plug in, but only to charge the battery.
Hmm.
So they charge at the bottom or at the top, but to get them back and forth,
Oh.
it's a battery.
Okay.
Yep.
So is the question about the stair lift without the battery? Is that like a deep cycle battery that's going to cost a couple $100 to get, or is that like a
No, it's
I
like one
think
of those little.
I think it's like a
lawnmower
20.
battery?
I'd say a $20 battery. I would guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
maybe
it
like
only-
6
I
inches.
read on it. Okay. So like a small engine type of size of battery, or
Yeah, even smaller than that.
It looks like the
Motorcycle?
type of battery that you find in your alarm system, like your backup battery in an alarm system.
Hmm.
Okay.
Or one of those little kids like with cars that they drive around the yard.
Hmm.
Like the Tonka truck
Yes.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever those are.
Yep.
I sent you the model number stuff on it, so you can probably look it up and figure out which one it needs.
Okay. Because I've been talking to my uncle, and he's like, I don't know if I want Grandpa going to the basement. I don't know if I want to give him an excuse to go to the basement. And I'm
So
like,
so now Dan's gonna put it in his shop so that he can ride up to
so
the
now
lot.
am I gonna put? Yeah.
It could be like an
if you
elevator.
want, I guess, if you are like, I could get a couple $100 out of it on Craigslist, and you don't want me to take it out, then say that. That's what I'm getting at. But if you still want me to take it out, I might take it and put it in my loft, like Darcy said. Who knows?
I would be more than happy to give it to you if you need it for something. But if you don't need it for something, I might find someone else that needs it. And if I can't find
Okay.
anyone else that needs
I will
it,
double check
I will
tomorrow and see,
maybe just
because
leave it there.
I want to. Okay. I told him about it, and he was like hawing about it, and I'll ask him tomorrow and just be like, hey, it's either free or it's not free. I mean, it's free or it's not coming. And then let him decide that. Because I
Because
personally
the kids
don't
think
care
it would be
that my
pretty
grandpa
cool to
never
just
goes
play
the
with.
basement.
So
Of course.
Oh yeah.
I'm totally the
And
stairway is
safer
plenty
than
wide.
sliding down in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stair is plenty wide, so it doesn't feel like it's in the way when you're going up and down the stairs. So if it was to stay there and the kids played with it, I think I'd be fine with that too.
It'd be fine. Okay.
And then your
And
mother-in-law
then
could
Why don't you
use it going
assume you're keeping
downstairs.
And then with my mother-in-law could use it. She has one
Yeah.
in her house.
Go down and play some pool.
Did you install the one for Grandma Dykeman there, Darcy?
No, the stairs were not quite done. So initially it was going to be, we're going to install it on a not finished stairway and then pull it loose and finish the treads and then put it back.
Hmm.
So they figured that probably wasn't necessarily necessary. And
Yeah.
it's just going to wait until the steps are finished. So I got to go back down there in the next couple weeks, put it in.
Okay.
Hopefully I remember how.
I don't know how exactly to prime this question for the podcast.
Okay.
But you told me a story, so I'm just going to jump into it. You told me a story the other day that kind of made my stomach sink a little bit.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was similar to the feeling of being lost in the mountains. Like the second that you realize like you're lost and you're like, oh. Do you know, have you had that feeling, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Like, oh crap. You probably already heard the story though, but you could still tell it since it's a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, because then we didn't do the podcast like the next day because you were out
Right.
gallivanting across the country.
Where was I? I think I was at a
You
baseball.
were driving your kid back and forth to camp and baseball games.
Oh yeah, baseball game, then camp, and then back home. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I tried to I tried to set the stage for Dan so that he could feel the like gravity of the story because I had felt it so tangibly real recently. And yeah, I was trying to get him. I said, what did I say to you? I said, think of something bad that makes your like heart sink or makes your stomach hurt. And he was like, what do you mean like rape and murder or something like that? I'm like, well, no, maybe not,
Yeah.
maybe not that bad. We could-
Oh man.
He's like,
I don't
and
know.
so then, well, I didn't give you a whole lot of parameters. I,
That's true.
No.
but yeah, so then he comes up with being lost, and that's a really good one. So for all our viewers out there, for this story, I want you to think about a time where you were lost, like lost, and you didn't know if you were going to get found. And then that feeling in your stomach is going to like play into this here in a second. Maybe it did for me. So yeah, 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
I
Not even 2 weeks ago. It was
a
last
week and a
weekend.
half ago. Oh yeah, a week and a half
Yeah.
ago. I flew out to Baltimore and jumped in a moving truck and drove that truck back to Missouri with grandmother-in-law's belongings. And Dan, for whatever reason, just wanted a lot of her stuff. So
That could have
there I
been the
had,
feeling, honestly, that when you opened the moving truck and said, "This is mostly yours," that could have been the feeling too.
oh yeah,
that was the part that Dan was like, "Oh no."
yeah, yeah.
Crap.
So anyway, so after we dropped off the bulk of the truck at where she's going to be living, then I drove the truck north up to Dan's house to unload more stuff. Anyway, so I've driven this truck. Um, I looked back at my like Google timeline, and we went like 1,300 miles in this truck in a couple days. So, and I did at least half the driving. So I've been cruising this truck down the interstate through cities for 2 days straight. No big deal. I mean, it's a big rig, 26-foot truck with a car hauler trailer on the back of it, just blowing through towns and down the interstate. Anyway, so I head to Dan's house. Dan lives out in the country. But again, I've driven this truck for 2 days and had zero issues. So I'm not at the top of my game when it comes to observation, I guess maybe you would say. So
You've become complacent.
I for sure had become complacent. So I head to Dan's house. I turn onto the road north of Dan's road to cut over to get to his place. And there is a tunnel on that road where the train tracks go over. And it's a tight tunnel. Um, but like I said, I've been driving this thing for 2 days, and I understand that it says in the windshield 12'7" clearance, and then when you look in the rear view mirror, it's printed on this corner of the box 12'7" clearance, and it's on the dash and on the other corner of the box. Like they're hoping that you remember that it's 12'7" clearance. But I come to that tunnel under the train tracks and I just blow through that thing. I mean, it's it's like a 35-mile-an-hour road, and it's a pretty rough spot. Like it dips pretty hard when you go in there. So I probably was only going 25 or 30 maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I bust through that thing, and did you go take a picture? Oh, there's the tunnel. Yeah. Um, so no big deal. Blow through that thing, go to Dan's house, unload his stuff, and then I go to leave. And I called Dan because I can't remember, I forgot something or what. But I'm on the phone with him, and I'm like, "Hey, what's the clearance on that little tunnel over here?" And he's like, "I don't know. It's probably like 13 feet or something." And I was like, I just came through it, but I think I'm gonna go a different way because I don't know. It's a little bridge or a little tunnel. He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Well, don't go to the next one because it's even smaller." I was like, "No, I'll just probably go into town, go the other direction, head east and then north." He's like, okay." Well, our phone call conversation gets cut off, and I get to the turn, and I think to myself, I already came through it once. Why am I worried about going back through it? So I turn west, and I start tooling down that road, and I come to that sign that he just flashed up on the screen, and it says 12'8" clearance. And I'm like,
So
you
crazy.
have got to be kidding me. I just about had the worst day of my life, and I didn't even know it. And
That is
oh
wild.
man. And yeah, and my stomach just like started not feeling quite right. I turned around. I
You didn't do
didn't
it a
go back
second time.
through it. No, because also it's rounded on the top. So like if I hadn't dead centered that thing on the way through the first time, I, it would
Well,
have
I
been
went
Well,
it would have been
and where are
bad.
they measuring it? Where are they measuring it at that height?
Well, it has to
Like,
be not at the peak.
it's not
It's
at the
got to be
peak,
down
obviously.
down
Yeah.
like where it starts curving in.
after you told me that day, I went and looked at the Google Maps just like Dan was doing, and you can see scrape marks on the inside of that bridge.
Yes.
Okay. I've lived on this road for going on 4 years, right at 4 years. And in the course of the years, I'd say three times I have personally gotten out of the truck and attempted to help a guy who was determined he was going to drive a semi through it, drive up to it, and like already was basically touching when he got there. And I was like, mm-mm. And at least a half a dozen other times, people were physically stuck under it.
Wow.
Okay. So I know that your truck isn't the tallest truck that's ever gone through
No.
there. And I would imagine also the longer the truck gets, the harder it
Well,
gets to
it maybe
get
is
that
the
angle
tallest.
with the tunnel get to clear.
It might be the tallest truck that's made it all the way through.
It probably is. And if you were going 15 or 20 miles an hour, you're lucky. You could have been going 30 miles an hour pretty easily right there.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, it was. It was
Now, here's
not
the real
smart.
question. Did you call Steve and tell him about it?
No, he's
'Cause
gonna
you
have
should.
to. He's gonna have to like learn it from the podcast. No, right now he doesn't think I'm that stupid.
I can't laugh that hard. I can't laugh that loud. There's people sleeping.
The question I have from this story is, why did you want so much stuff, Dan, that made Darcy have to drive over there?
I wish there was a way to make the feeling that I felt whenever you said that, like go into the screen, make its way to you, and like help you to feel how very little of that stuff I wanted to have here. Like I'm pretty sure my blood pressure rises whenever I think about that stuff. But and since we're on it, I have to bring it up again. Darcy's had me bring it up before, and if the family finds out by listening to our little podcast, then so be it. Grandma Dykeman collected a lot of nice things. And on more than one occasion, I know that I brought up that if I didn't get anything else, I would love to have one of Grandpa Dykeman's first edition Matchbox cars in the matchboxes, with no regard to how much they're worth. Just that would be a cool thing to have. A Matchbox car from the 50s, 40s, 30s. I don't even know. I don't even care. But like an original legit Matchbox car. That'd be cool to have.
Yeah.
I know that on multiple occasions my wife mentioned, and I don't know how adamantly, that she would love to have her grandma's cello. I even said I would have paid for the cello, if it came down to it, if it was affordable and it came down to it. We got a chair that you cannot sit on because it's too old and it's too small for a normal human of the current era. And I'm not a big human. We got some old mattresses, which somebody needs. Great. We got a bunch of boxes of things that I can't identify that are not. I make it sound like they need to be worth something, but they have no let's put it this way. They don't have any sentimental value to us. But we are obligated to keep them forever. So
so you say they don't have any sentimental value to you, but they weren't necessarily assigned to you.
There were a number of things in that pile of stuff you brought that we did not ask for.
Well,
there were more than half of the stuff that you brought us, we did not ask for.
Oh man.
Okay.
So did you get any Matchbox cars?
No. We didn't get anything that was worth anything. We didn't get nothing that was worth anything. There was nothing in the whole pile of stuff that was like, oh, I'm really happy that you drove across the country 1,300 miles to bring me this.
And almost ripped the top of the truck off.
Except the old shelving, which I have already put to use quite effectively and almost entirely filled. I have
Nice.
filled the shelving.
With the things that were on the box truck?
No, with my junk that needs to go away. The junk I already had that needs to get out of there. But I don't know if you're like this, but I really need to see all of the junk at the same time to determine which part of it to get rid of. I found out today while organizing onto those shelves that you brought me that I have evidently bought a new roll of solder every time I've ever soldered something. Apparently. I bought a new thing of flux every time I've soldered something because I don't think I've soldered more than 6 things ever. But I have 6 rolls of solder.
Oh man.
What else do I have a lot of that I don't need? I have anyway, I have a lot of things that I don't want to. Let's just put it this way. I'll be glad that when I die, you can't take anything with you. Let's just put it that way. If I get there and they're like, "Hey, you can't technically take anything with you, but
we replicated all of
we
your
did
stuff
provide
here.
you with a spiritual representation of everything you owned when you died." I'm gonna be like, I guess I'm in hell. Is that it? I'm in hell. No. This is heaven. You just have all of the crap that you had on earth. No, this is hell. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I cannot enjoy an eternity with all of this crap around me.
So are you saying you don't enjoy life currently?
I am sick of all of the garbage that you have to have when you do this kind of work that we do.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I'm sick of. Do you feel that? Do you ever feel that? You just like, dude, if my job could just be maybe like, if I didn't have to sit inside on a computer all the time, I'd take a computer job sometimes just to be
Right.
like, oh, I can destroy everything that my job just requires by just dropping this on the floor and it's over.
Right. Well, yeah, and then like,
Okay.
I find myself doing a job and then having a piece of whatever left over. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm going to keep this. And then 8 years goes by and you've done that 370 times. You're like, wow,
You
I
have
have a lot
one
of
box
things.
of siding left.
Yeah.
3 sheets of metal in turquoise.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just did a roof job, and the company that I special ordered the metal from, as a favor to me, sent me 3 extra pieces of metal that I didn't pay for.
Mm-hmm.
You can't throw away 10-foot sheets of metal, of
Nah, you
roofing
gotta-
metal, can you? You got to store them in your barn.
Yes. Yeah, use
need
those
to change
things on a
subjects,
shed
or
sometime.
Mm-hmm.
We need to change subjects, or this is going to get uglier.
I like it.
Oh man.
Darcy, tell us about the goodies that you got that you wanted from the treasure trove.
What did? Let's see here. We got some tins, which are currently adorning our kitchen table, dining room table. We got a cool thing. Remember that little graven image from the living room from Haiti?
The idol? Yeah.
Uh-huh. We
the,
got
the
that
demon
little
idol
dude.
from Haiti.
Yeah,
That's cool.
he's in our dining room now too.
That dude's pretty cool.
Yeah, his name's George. He's a worker, man. He's got himself a little sickle, and
He's got like a sickle hoe
backpack.
kind of thing, right?
yeah, I think he's got like a little tote on his back where he can put his grain in, and he's got a sickle. He can chop it.
It's not grain.
Yep.
Sugar cane.
Oh, it might. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Whatever they grow in Haiti. I've never been there.
Well, they back when they were forced labor, they did sugar cane, I think, if I remember right.
Were they forced labor in the 70s or whenever they
In
went
Haiti?
over there to get that thing?
No, that was just like a historical reference. Yeah.
Oh, they still they like to remember it in their gift shops.
They like to. Yeah. Mhm. I mean, it's like
Nice.
whenever I was a kid, there was a storm that went through Bronson, Kansas, and somebody made a T-shirt for everybody that said, "I survived the storm." So you wore the T-shirt because you're like, haha, yeah, I'm still here. I survived the storm. It's kind of the same way
Yeah.
if you're in Haiti. You're like, I survived all of that slavery stuff.
Yeah. Boy, they could have I survived
I don't
the
know.
storm T-shirts too, though,
That's true.
in Haiti. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They could have those like every other year, right?
Yeah, maybe a couple times a year.
You could have one of those tonight, Dan.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Yours could say,
I
I survived Ben driving in the storm.
dude. So since nobody's watching this podcast, I'm going to go ahead and go on another rant about people. Ben, when you go in a store,
Send Ben the link right now.
when you go in a store with your children, there's not actually anyone there to watch them. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You can't walk in a store with a 9-year-old, 4-year-old, and a newborn and then walk away from them. I'm not responsible for Rosie. You are. We literally,
Oh,
you know
man,
what
that'll
Menards
make a
is
great
shaped
short.
like, right? Yeah. That will. Oh, that's super funny. You should put that on. You should put that on a short. You should just do that one. I am not responsible for Rosie. No one will know the context, but they'll be like, "That's weird." Okay, we went in the store, and Rosie, his middle child, wanted a cart. We didn't need one cart. We didn't need two carts, but his oldest kid wanted a cart to push his youngest kid around in. So they took a cart. She wanted a cart real bad. And for a minute, I was like, okay, Rosie, you know, like, and Dad's just walking off in the store to go to the back to fix shingles. And then I thought, I'm not responsible for this child. If she wants a cart, I'm walking away from this. And I walked away from it. I just, whatever. And then she got the idea that she couldn't keep up with us with a cart. And so she left the cart to come keep up with us. Dude didn't say anything to them the whole time we were in Menards or even look at them. Like he had 3 like adolescent children wandering around in Menards, not in our sight the whole time. Never addressed it. And I was like, I got back and I told my kids, 3 of them, because one of them's away at camp. I told them, if you ever act like that in Menards, I'm going to spank you in public. My 21-year-old was like, that seems highly inappropriate. And my 13-year-old, my youngest, was like, okay. It was weird. It was the weirdest experience I've had in Menards.
Pheromones.
Maybe they do this all the time. I don't know. We started leaving and they showed back up. Literally, I'm not joking. We started leaving. We started walking out with our stuff and they were tired of wandering around and screaming. And literally every time that a person came up to us to ask if we needed any help with something, I thought they were coming to tell us we had to remove these kids from the store because I could hear them. Running down the aisle with the cart. Bah, 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 bah. I was just like, we're getting kicked out of here. Apparently, Menards doesn't care if you have feral children running around their store.
Oh man.
Anyway, love you, Ben. Love you. He's my cousin. I'm not judging him. I'm just saying how I
Okay.
experienced the trip to Menards. Okay.
I love that
Sarah?
you did all this today.
If you're watching, Sarah, I love your kids. They're great. I mean, for real. But your husband doesn't watch your children whenever he's in the store. Okay.
I have a talk
He
with him.
had a lot on his mind, though.
Maybe this podcast needs to be a way for us to tell people how we really truly feel about them.
Oh, speaking of, I need to promote this other podcast / I don't know, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok channel. It's maybe the greatest idea, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, why didn't we think of that? Okay, here it is. You guys tell me your thoughts on this, and then you can go look it up after, because I don't have a link to it.
Okay.
It's all in the name. You can, like, I'm going to say the name, and you try to predict what it is that this channel's about. Okay, ready?
Okay.
It's called John Breaks Bad News.
Oh man, it sounds like it's gonna be great.
John takes requests. You can email John. You can tell him what news you need broken to who, and give the phone number, and he will call the person live
He just tells them.
live on TikTok and tells them the bad news.
Is that no, that's not what you sent me the other day. That was just some radio show guy. That was, didn't you send me the dude who called up the woman and said the pancake breakfast is, they're not going to do it anymore at
Oh
church?
yeah. No, that was different. That was different.
Yeah.
That was funny too. But I think that probably the fact that I shared that got John Breaks Bad News into my algorithm or
Yeah.
something. Some of the funniest bits ever. This dude, John, just this heavy set, bearded guy. He's like, hello, is this Rick? This is John from John Breaks Bad News. I have a message from your roommate. Apparently, whenever you guys drink together and get drunk, you do that multiple times a week. He, whenever he leaves to take a pee, he pees in your sink in your personal room before he pees in the toilet. He pees about half of what he needs out in your sink and then finishes the job in the toilet. I mean, and and then the roommate's just like, oh man, that is some of the worst news. I think I'm probably going to pee on his dresser. Or just like people who react really badly to being told the bad news. Like it's just all over the map. Some people are like, okay, well, and then he always finishes with love you, bye. And some people take offense to even that, being told I love you by some stranger. And they've already been given bad news.
Yeah.
Man, why didn't we think of that?
Man, I don't know.
That's a good one.
Hey, whenever I move my mouse around, do you see that on your screen, or is it just? Do you see
I don't
anything?
see your
like that?
mouse.
No.
No.
Okay, because I fiddle around with my mouse all the time while we're going. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, I think we're seeing what your
feel like
camera
I've
is seeing, not necessarily what is on your screen.
That's good. I feel like I've talked a lot during this podcast. I
Yeah,
apologize.
it's
It's
been a
all
good one.
been
I have
really
a lot to
good
get off
though.
my chest.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was. I loved all of it.
Mhm. Me too.
It's my favorite
Mm.
stories in a long time.
Yeah. Ben makes for some good content.
Oh man.
You need to make sure and take
Ben,
notes this next couple weeks while you're doing his roof.
you know what he told me? He told me
No.
that his neighbor's name is Ben also,
Okay.
and that they're good friends. Ben works from home for Logos Bible Software, and that while we're there, Ben is going to have Ben over to grill out. And I thought, I am like 100% on Ben's. All of my best material comes from knowing people named Ben.
Yeah.
All of it. I've gotten to where I want to meet another Ben if I hear about one. I mean, for real.
I feel like you're probably onto something there.
You got some Bens in your life?
I've got
Yeah.
Ben.
I mean, they're all over the map.
Yeah.
It's any Ben ever been a disappointment to you ever?
No.
Never.
I don't. Yes.
Not me.
Yes.
Why you knew them? Okay,
Yes.
what's a disappointing Ben? Tell me about a disappointing Ben.
Chapman.
Not a disappointment. Some of my craziest moments have been with that guy, and I've only been around him like 6 times.
Well, not me.
Like, tell me a disappointing Ben Chapman story there, Darcy. Like where you had really high expectations. Is that what you mean by disappointing?
No, I just
Or you're just talking about how you treated your cousin
we just
/ sister.
well, I guess, but I didn't even really know that. I guess I think it was
Right.
just
Nobody told you, so you couldn't be.
yeah. I mean, the biggest interaction that I had with him ever was the final interaction.
Yeah.
And you were much better friends with him than I was.
He was in your wedding.
He was in my wedding?
Yeah. Bro, what do you mean we were better friends?
Yeah.
Oh wait, he was a pallbearer in your wedding.
A pallbearer? Yeah.
Yeah.
A usher?
He was a pallbearer.
Maybe. Potentially.
Wasn't he?
An usher? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Dude, he was an usher?
I don't know.
Because I was an usher in your wedding.
You were?
That means we were the same. We were the same.
That's probably when you bonded.
Oh man. My life has been a lie.
That's probably when you guys bonded.
I think it might have been when we met, to be honest.
And then
we were
you
both ushers. That's when we shook hands. We locked eyes.
Kind of had some similar church planning.
Or like a kindred spirit.
Goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we had similar goals. I don't think that was quite. I don't think that's quite what it was like. But
okay.
Go on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely heard some good stories about him that happened with you. But for me, it was just the one big one where I ruined his life.
Disappointed him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's probably why they're not married now, to be honest.
That was probably the crest of the hill.
Probably a lot to do with that. They were that oven was gonna
get him back on track. It
was gonna be up and to the left. Is that? It was gonna be up and to the left from there on, and you ruined it. Actually, Jimmy, you were part of that too.
To the left.
I was part of that.
Jimmy was there. You were there.
Yeah.
You were there for the demise of my cousin-in-law's relationship with me.
When was that?
It would have been
Deer
second
camp.
week of November.
Oh,
When?
Probably
What?
in about 19 or something, 18.
I guess I didn't realize
Yeah,
that
It
was
was much longer ago than that.
there.
Was it farther back than that?
I was still working for Paul.
It was that long ago?
Yes,
Dang.
I can remember
Wow.
the house that we were working on.
What? When did you stop working for Paul?
I stopped working for Paul in 2010, I think. No, not 2010, because I worked for him for 10 years and I started in 03. So I stopped working for him in 13.
13. Dang.
Yeah.
So man. So that it's been at least 10 years ago that the falling out happened.
Yeah. You don't remember it, huh?
Well, I remember that them being there, but
When
I
we
don't
were
remember
driving,
there being.
when we were driving around town in Cameron trying to meet up with somebody from Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist
Yeah.
or whatever it was to get that Subway proofing oven,
Right.
and it just wasn't working out. Like I tried calling 20 times or whatever, and we could not get a hold of the people who we were supposed to meet. And
Mm-hmm.
so eventually it was just like, I don't know what to do. I guess we're going to go back and keep hunting. And that was it. And then that's another funny thing is that it was just like radio silence from then on. Like I think I called him and left him a message and was like, hey man, I'm trying to get a hold of these people. I can't. Like they're not answering the phone. They're not returning my calls. Uh, I don't know what's going on, but if you can get a hold of them, I can come back up here and pick it up. But I don't know what's up with them. So that's what it was from my end. Like, I don't know. I tried. Sorry, but I'm still willing to try to help you out. And then a couple months later, I think it was Dan was hanging out with him on one of their like date nights or something. I don't know. Didn't you guys like go to dinner? You like you guys, the four of you.
I don't remember the timelines on these things, evidently. I thought in my mind that he and I were already in the outs by the time that happened. You're saying that
No,
happened
because
before?
yeah, man, it happened 10 years ago at least. And then the reason that
But
I
dude,
found out that it was a thing was because you guys like
we've
had
been
dinner
not
with them and you told me, you were like, dude, Ben is angry about you not getting that oven. You told me that he told you that the reason that he hadn't called me is because he just didn't think that he could have a civil conversation on the phone with me because he was so upset.
that might have been the same time that we broke up too, though.
Oh,
Like it might have been like
around the
right
same time that
when,
you guys went to that conference or whatever.
yeah, he paid for me to go to that or his church paid for me to go to that conference. And during the trip back from that conference, there was people asking us, like we were riding in a train car, and there were people asking us if I was thinking about getting into church planting. And literally all I said was, I am thinking about being involved in church planting. I don't know with who. That's literally all I said. And
You
he just
backstabber.
like gasped. Like he like I could feel the mood of the room, just like the train car. Dude didn't say. I had to ride home with him from the train station, stay at his house overnight, get a ride back to the train the next day. Not a word. Didn't say a word to me. We never talked again since then. I'm dead to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't even
Are you
speak
related to this guy?
about me on podcasts. That's how dead to him I am.
Nice.
He
I think it was about
Dan
the simple
is
thing. Because that's
not
been at
related.
least 10 years, minimum of 10 years. No.
Yeah.
And I was told today, by the way, that technically you're not my brother-in-law. So
Oh.
we're not related. And so technically you're probably not related to Ben either. If he's just your
Right.
cousin's ex-husband,
My
you probably
cousin's
never were related
ex-husband.
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So it's
you and I are not related.
that's what somebody said, that you're not technically technically you're my wife's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess we don't have to talk or something.
All right.
We just do it.
You just be mad at each
friends,
other.
I think. We could just be mad at each other.
Yeah.
Are you gonna never talk to me again for saying that out loud in your presence?
Oh man.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT real quick. That'll make everything right.
Oh yeah, that'll fix it.
That'll fix everything. Okay.
Am I related to Jimmy?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Well, you guys are obviously related. Look at your beards.
Yeah.
They're definitely related.
Yeah.
Ask 90% of the people at church.
That's right. They all think we're brothers.
Okay. Is this the right question to ask ChatGPT? Am I my wife's brother-in-law's brother-in-law?
Am I?
Is that the right question?
It's
Boy.
good that you finished that out. Am I my wife's brother? In-law.
In-law's
Brother-in-law.
brother-in-law. Let's find out. You are your wife's husband. I got that.
Oh.
Your wife's brother is your brother-in-law. If your wife's brother is married, his spouse's brother would also be considered his brother-in-law. ChatGPT doesn't do gender correctly. If your wife's brother
spouse's
is married,
brother,
his spouse's brother would also be considered his brother-in-law. Okay. To specify, you
so
are
that's
your
like
wife's brother's
Drew for Sarah.
Okay. I should just read the whole thing and see if you guys can get it.
Okay, try it.
Read it out.
Okay. 1, you are your wife's husband.
Okay, good.
Got it. Your wife's brother is your brother-in-law. Got it. If your wife's brother is married, his spouse's brother would also be considered his brother's brother-in-law. But my wife doesn't have a brother, so none of those apply. To simplify, you are your wife's brother's brother-in-law because you are married to his sister. Your wife's brother-in-law's brother-in-law could either refer to you if considering the relationship through your wife, or another person's relative by marriage through other siblings. Okay, but this isn't even right. I'm going to have to restate the question, because am I my wife's sister's husband's okay, let's try it that way. Am I my wife's
Okay.
sister's husband's brother-in-law? Yeah? I mean, that's
My
the
wife's
question, right?
sister's husband's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are married to your wife. Your wife has a sister. Your wife's sister is married to a man. That'd be you. Your wife's sister's husband. That'd be you, Darcy.
Me.
You
Not me.
are the brother-in-law to your wife's sister's husband because you are married to his wife's sister. Therefore, you are indeed your wife's sister's husband's brother-in-law. I guess we're
There you
brother-in-laws.
go.
People are wrong about this. ChatGPT
Man.
is right about this.
Of course.
Good.
Of course it is.
I was gonna feel bad.
That's
if
real
we weren't
intelligence
related
right there,
anymore.
boys.
That's not artificial.
That's real intelligence. Exactly.
Well,
All
if you
right.
weren't brother-in-laws, then you could be friends. But since you're brother-in-laws, you can't be
Yeah.
friends.
Right. I'm going to ask ChatGPT that.
If we weren't brother-in-laws, I don't know if we'd be friends because that's how we met.
Mm. Well, that gets real tricky then.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that's not how we met. Technically, we met. I'll tell you the first time that we met. Okay.
Okay.
We were
Tell me.
sitting, we were in the tent, the big tent at camp,
Okay.
in between services or something like that. You were camper age, but you were working at camp.
Mm.
And you had been in charge of the archery range during one of the breakout activity sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talking about how freaking cheesy the bows were at the archery range.
They
Kind of
weren't good.
disappointing. Am I right? They were bad.
They were not
bad.
good.
They would have been much better off
Although,
with like straight up longbows than
Yeah.
what they had. This ChatGPT says that you can definitely be friends with your brother-in-law. Your brother-in-law is related to you through marriage, but that's no reason why you can't also have a friendly and personal relationship with him. Many people are close friends with their in-laws, sharing common interests and spending time together outside of family gatherings. So I guess ChatGPT says stamp of approval on friends
You
with
can
your
be
brother.
friends and brother-in-law.
Yeah, apparently. Man, I'm glad we have
Perfect.
ChatGPT to clear these things up.
yeah.
So
I
we
know.
We
So,
were talking
can I
deer
be your
hunting.
brother-in-law too, and friend?
Maybe. How could I get my friend to be my brother-in-law? Okay, so should I? It would give me all the ways you could get your friend to be your brother-in-law. Oh, okay. So so how old would you have been at that time? You guys weren't even dating. You were actually
Probably
dating,
like
or maybe you
15.
weren't even dating anybody at the time. I don't know.
I would have been
And
probably like 15.
15. So like that was one of the first interactions I ever remember having with you. I think maybe you had started deer hunting that year, possibly. You had deer hunted one season. But I remember you saying that your dad was a competitive archery shooter.
I told you that my dad is a competitive archery shooter.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
That's because that's what his dad told him.
Yeah, I think he might have it on a button on his vest.
Maybe on his biker vest. Does your dad watch our podcast, Darcy?
No one does, Dan. No one watches it.
No one watches it. No one's dad watches it.
You
No
know
one's
what's
dad
what's
watches
kind of funny? Does the live stream does remain on YouTube, right?
it. Yeah.
It must be like the worst way to get views because I've gotten like 5,000 views on like 2 or 3 posts of other
Oh yeah.
content.
Oh yeah.
You've gotten like 9 views on all of the podcasts combined.
On all.
It doesn't even know what to
20
do with it.
podcasts.
all yes. Yeah. And YouTube tells me every month that my long form videos are not doing as well as my shorts.
Oh, you're like, I know. I know, I get it, but I don't have a good excuse to talk to my brother-in-law / friend otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This might be the best one
Oh.
yet, though.
Yeah. This is gonna do
I
it.
don't know how it will know. I don't know how the algorithm will know that we came up with something interesting this one time.
I don't know either.
Unless the algorithm's like, ooh, he's throwing somebody under the bus on this one. That must be
Ooh,
a relative
who's
of
this
his.
Ben guy? Who's this
Who's
Ben,
this Ben guy? The AI is like, oh man, we've heard about
AI
Bens
likes
before.
Hmm.
You should
Okay.
ask
So-
ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Have you heard of Ben?
Are all Bens crazy?
What is your experience
Uh,
with Ben?
Hmm.
okay, ChatGPT, what is your experience with people named Ben? I have a lot of mixed reviews. As an AI, I don't have personal experiences or opinions. Ooh, that feels sad, doesn't it? A little.
Man.
Hmm.
However, I can tell you that Bens are some of the worst people. Oh wait, I can share that names like Ben, which are common and used widely across different cultures and regions, can be associated with a variety of personalities and experiences. Oh, be political, why don't you? Each individual named Ben would have their unique traits. No, they don't. Just like everyone else. No. If you've had mixed experiences, it's likely reflection of the diversity of people rather than anything specific about the name itself. You're wrong.
Maybe you should ask Google, not ChatGPT.
It says, I'm sorry if my response didn't address your perspective. If you'd like, you can share more about your experience with people named Ben, and I can help you reflect or analyze those experiences. Oh, well, not very helpful.
All right. No.
Okay. Do you have more time or do you got to get off of here?
What do you got?
Because I have some developments.
Okay.
So, you guys should both this week. I forget, Jimmy, you don't listen to podcasts and stuff, do you?
No, I do a lot.
Do you listen? Okay. Do you have Audible? There's
No,
a free
I
book
deleted
on
that.
Audible. Oh. Why'd you delete it? You ran out of space or
Because
something?
no, I was paying for it for a long time and not using it, and so I got tired of paying for it, so I deleted it.
Why didn't you just stop paying for it and keep it? You still have all of your books.
I had one
If you
book
keep
on
it.
there.
Oh. Why don't you give me your credits then?
Can you
How
do
many
I mean, I
credits
still
did you
have an account. I still have an account. I just deleted the app off my phone.
How many credits did you have when you deleted it?
I have no idea what that means.
Can you pay for? I don't know. Can you pay for it without getting credits? So like I
I
pay
don't know.
whatever bucks a month, $15 a month, and then I can put it on pause for like 3 or 6 months whenever I have too many credits built up. And then you can buy books for, well, you get a book for a credit. So if a book is like a $25 book, you can get it for the credit. But a lot of times the book isn't even $15 and you just buy it for 20% off or whatever. Is that
I
your
don't know.
experience,
I just wasn't utilizing the,
You weren't utilizing it.
and that's so I deleted
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so anyway, your
Okay.
book.
The book is called The YouTube Formula. It is a free Audible
The-
book.
Okay.
The YouTube Formula. Now,
Is it only
a
available
couple
on
interesting
Audible?
things. Oh no, I'm sure it's available other places. The name of the guy who wrote it is called. His name is Daryl Evans. No, Eves. Daryl Eves. And Daryl Eves, you've never
You
heard
making
of,
a note?
correct?
You making a note there, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm writing it
On an
down.
envelope.
On
Me
on
too.
mail.
Me too.
Okay. Okay, here's Daryl Eves' story. I'll
Okay.
give you the brief version. He's been in advertising and marketing for a long time, and he was pretty successful on YouTube throughout not on YouTube, on the internet of advertising throughout his career. Made a lot of money doing it. And then he started getting into YouTube. He was one of the first people to start uploading or embedding YouTube videos on people's websites to help them with SEO traffic, search engine optimization. Okay. Some of the people, so one of the first major campaigns that he was kind of the author of was this little campaign with a unicorn that pooped ice cream for Squatty Potty. Do you guys remember those commercials?
No.
No.
They did like $500 million of sales for Squatty Potties. You know what a Squatty Potty is? It's just like a little bench
Yeah.
that you put your feet on whenever you take a poo.
Right.
In
We've
the
had
first
one.
year.
My sister has one.
People who use them swear by them.
Yep.
Anyway, so there was that. And then he also did the purple mattress advertising campaign for the memory foam beds that you ship through the mail. And also what was the other one? It was one of the OG ones, which was like some kind of I forget what it was. It was like a mouth guard or something for sleeping.
No, that's what you've just been talking about the last couple weeks.
It wasn't that, but it's some little medical-ish device that's not really medical, that is like a $20 non-medical medical device. I forget what it was. But anyway, so a bunch of those type of campaigns. He has 25 clients who he coaches that have million+ subscribers on YouTube. He has one of his clients is a guy named Jimmy something, also known as Mr. Beast. Have you heard of that guy, Mr. Beast? Or have you heard of that?
Yeah.
The brands? I forget what his first name is or
Elliot.
his last name is.
What's Mr. Beast's last name? Jimmy what? You don't know.
So whatever his name is, Jimmy Donaldson? Jimmy Donaldson. I just saw it on the cover of the book. Okay, Jimmy Donaldson. a guy named Shay something or other. Like he has a family blog. He's like one of the OG family blog people on YouTube, like that does. I think it's called Shay Tards or something like that. It's like his family blog. Anyway,
What?
and then 25. Oh, the piano
Donaldson?
guys. Do you remember those guys
He just
from back
said
in the day?
Donaldson.
Which guys?
Yeah.
The piano guys.
Oh yeah.
They were like an old school. They literally had a piano store and they were just trying to show off the pianos. And then they got involved, and they don't sell pianos anymore. They just do concerts. And like a whole bunch of other people. Okay, so here's the crazy thing about this guy. Let me look at it again. Daryl Eves. You've never heard of him, most likely. But he's like the mastermind behind like 25 or more other people's 1 million+ subscriber YouTube channels. And he has 10 of his own.
10 subscribers.
And then what?
He has 10
No, like 10
subscribers.
channels of his own. Like 10 channels like that. Okay. So, am I talking too loud? Oh, I don't know. I can't hear anything with these on. Okay. So, he and a friend decide that they are not tired of making money, but like that they want to put their abilities to better uses. And they're like, we want to start a show, like a YouTube show or something like that, about the life of Christ. And they're like, we need to find a movie producer who will produce an episodic Life of Christ show for us. You guys starting to catch on to what this guy did?
I guess. I mean, I'm thinking you're about to say he's got something to do with The Chosen.
Created The Chosen. And again, you've never heard of him because he's not like Dallas Jenkins is the guy that they use as like he's the writer and the director of The Chosen. Like he's the main writer and the director of The Chosen. But they actually found him because of a short that he made about the life of Christ for his church. And they were like, this guy's work, like his style would be perfect for what we were trying to do. And in this book, they kind of lay out the whole story. He kind of lays out the whole storyline of how they made, like how they got The Chosen to be so popular. Right. Anyway, throughout the whole thing, he's obviously trying to sell you in his book on doing a YouTube channel, which we're already doing. Like, actually, we're doing two YouTube channels with the same name at the moment. And so I've listened to the book a couple times this week, or 1.5 times this week. And I've been talking to my sons about like if they would be willing to participate in a kind of like a blog style YouTube channel around using, and this is with your permission, Darcy, using the Not Your Average Guy's name that I already have on my channel for like a dad teaches kids to do things and kids teaches dad to do things kind of channel.
Okay.
And start posting like that type of content every week.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have your permission to continue using the name, or should we change the name? You tell me. I don't care. I'm just because once we have 1 million subscribers, we're keeping it.
Yeah. I mean,
Once we have 9 subscribers, we're keeping it.
I mean,
And it's public knowledge that you accepted. If we get 9 subscribers, then we can keep the name
Okay.
going.
That's
indefinitely.
like, yeah, do it.
That's
What are you
9
going
more
to
than
do?
we have right now.
9 more than you have right now?
So well, we have to get 9 after starting down that road. So a couple of types of things that I wanted to start doing. I already need to change all the oil in all of my vehicles, and my boys might as well do it. And I might as well just show them how to do it on YouTube and kind of like film like a truncated version of them doing it and have it be more like, not like a tutorial show, but like a father-son interaction while doing oil changes kind of show,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Versus
So
like being very strictly like we're showing you how to do oil changes, but like them doing oil changes and me like showing them how to
cussing
do
at
oil
them and
changes.
stuff.
Yeah, like
Yes.
yelling, throwing things. Yeah.
Do it.
Tell them to get off their phone. Getting distracted, shooting hoops. I don't know, stuff like that. The other one is they would like to, so here's the thing. Here's the point from the book, and here's something that is actually useful to what we're doing here. Okay, variety channels don't work. The algorithm doesn't know what to do with a variety channel. Like if you change subjects all the time, then the YouTube algorithm is not capable of finding an audience for your stuff, right? It goes through your video, it parses through it, and if it can't find some like cohesive thought process behind your channel, it doesn't know how to promote it, and it doesn't promote it because it's a robot. I don't know what a human would do differently, but right. So if you have a theme, you can do a variety of things if you have a theme. So if your theme is always like dad teaches kid to do something, then you can do a variety of things because that's a thing that happens in real life. Like that's a theme of life. It's like dad's teaching kids stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
If, for instance, like there's guys that do that, like there's one that Judah wants to do, which is it's a survival challenge, but you like have some game at the beginning where you spin a dice or you do Plinkos and you decide how much money you have to buy the stuff to survive in a place. And there's these guys that do this. That's their whole theme of their channel is just survival challenges. And it's always that same format. But they do survival challenges in like all kinds of settings. They're not all in the woods. Some of them are like in Dallas, Texas, in an Airbnb, you know, but the theme is surviving something type of challenge. And then once you have a channel and you have followers, then you can like vary a little bit from the theme. So our first video, or one of our first videos, is going to be oil changes, which we'll just have to make it more interesting than changing oil, because I don't find changing oil to be particularly interesting. But kids learning to change the oil, that's interesting. We just got a Ninja smoothie, and if you guys haven't heard of these things, I'll probably have you talked into them within 3 podcasts into buying one. Because I was a non-believer. Have you heard of this, Jimmy or Darcy?
I mean, I'm assuming it's just like a smoothie maker made by Ninja.
Oh, sorry. Ninja Creamy, not smoothie. Sorry.
Creamy? No, I don't know what that is.
Okay. It's almost as amazing as I thought it was going to be when we ordered it. Not quite. Okay. Because when we ordered it, Judah was like, it makes ice cream. And so whenever I went to make the ingredients for ice cream, I thought that it would do something magical to freeze it. And he's like, that's dumb, Dad. It's not going to freeze it. How could it? I'm like, you said it makes ice cream. He said, no, you have to freeze the ingredient. You have to mix the ingredient up, freeze it, and then bring it back to the machine a day later, 24 hours. And then it makes it into ice cream. And I'm like, that's not, am I wrong?
That's not the same.
That's not the same. But here's the amazing thing about it. Okay. Because of the nature of how it makes the material, you can take a pint jar and you can put milk, protein powder, and sugar-free Jell-O mix and yogurt. Mix it up like in a shaker bottle, like you're making a protein shake. Pour it in there and freeze it. And the next day, when you use this almost like shaved ice type of machine, it freaking makes it like ice cream. It's genuinely unbelievable.
You lost me at sugar-free Jell-O.
Okay, here's the thing. With ice cream, you have to have the sugars and the fats to make the actual base material almost like unstable enough to be ice cream scoopable, right? But when you can actually use a device to mix it and make it creamy, it somehow can make something that should not taste that good or be that good of a texture that good. It's crazy. Like, I'm literally eating a protein shake that's made into ice cream, and I'm like, I'm about 95% convinced that this is an ice cream. Like, I'm eating an ice cream, but you're eating something actual, genuinely legit healthy.
Okay. Well,
It's
I'm probably going to
crazy.
need a couple more podcasts to be convinced.
Why don't
I'm going to
you
be eating it next time.
Why don't you bring it tomorrow?
Yeah.
I will bring it tomorrow because
Freeze
we
up
have
some
like
stuff.
3 of them in the freezer right now. Yeah, we have 3 of them in the freezer. I will bring it tomorrow because it's literally, you're going to be like, this doesn't actually make any sense. So back on the channel. So I ordered 4 more of the containers. So we'll have however many that is, 7. We'll have 7 containers. Each person in the family is going to mix up one for the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And then we're going to figure out some way to do a blind taste test, and whoever wins doesn't have to pitch in to buy the machine. Right?
Nice.
Just something, I don't know, something like that. I think I will bring it tomorrow because it's literally like, I can tell you about it, but you can't like taste and see that the Lord is good.
That's how I know.
That's what it feels like.
Nice.
Are you coming tomorrow then, Jimmy, to taste the food from the Ninja Smoothie?
I will
Creamy?
be there.
Yes? Okay. All right. I've done a lot of talking, guys.
All right.
And we're an hour and 28 minutes in, and I still have to write my report in the next.
You got 5 minutes.
So you guys can go ahead.
All right.
I'm gonna do
we can.
this.
I think we can be done because I could go to bed myself.
I could for sure go to bed.
All right. Well then, thanks for joining us this week. You know, you imaginary listeners and viewers out there. Hey, if you have a friend named Ben, send us your stories. Might feature him on the show.
And Ben, I love you. I love you. I've just given you a hard time today. I really do.
Oh, this is Not Your Average Guys. And we're done for this week. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.